Hey everyone, it's Argonaut here from The Right Way, and another story coming out of my home country, New Zealand. There's been a push in New Zealand for lowering the voting age to 16 um, by a bunch of radical, well, I don't want to say radical, but activized young people who feel it's their right to vote. Um, and we've come across this article from a 17-year-old who, well, the title of the article is "I'm 17 but I can't support lowering the voting age." That's interesting. So what's going on here? So James Broomie ISA is a youth MP representing National MP Nicola Willis at the 10th Youth Parliament. He is 17 and a student at Wellington College. So for those of you not in New Zealand, basically for about a week or fortnight apparently, we have young people representing the different MPs in Parliament to give these people a taste of what it's like to get into politics and be in Parliament. So let's have a read of what he says. It's been a big fortnight for young people with a political bent. Last week, 120 youth MPs sat and were reported on by 19 members of the Youth Press Gallery under the watch of the first youth clerk or youth parliamentary CEO. In that week before that, In the week before that, the slick, well-funded campaign to lower the voting age to 16 was heard in the Supreme Court. Youth are seeking a declaration that the legal voting age of 18 is inconsistent with the Bill of Rights. Well, why isn't it 15? Why isn't it 14? Why isn't it 10? Why isn't it 8? What's the difference? Right? I mean, why are they choosing 16 is what the voting age should be lowered to? It should really be lower if it's inconsistent with the Bill of Rights for everyone. Being one of the youth MPs privileged to sit in this big green chairs, I will not and cannot support lowering the voting age to 16. The 2 days of the Youth Parliament and what followed proves to me that some need to practice what they preach. Many who spoke passionately about the need for their voice to be heard and for compulsory civics education showed an uncivil intolerance for our democracy. What could have gone on? The event that highlighted this for me was a pre-planned walkout when Matthew Fiskin, the youth MP for Axe Nicole McKee, stood to make a speech on firearms. A number of youth MPs left the chamber as he started to speak. So the ACT party is probably a right-wing party, not far right, but more right than centre. And they were against New Zealand's changes to the Firearms Act, which got law-abiding New Zealanders to hand back their firearms with a change in Parliament. But obviously the criminals didn't hand their guns in because we've had now more shootings than ever since we had the gun buyback in New Zealand. So it hasn't made any difference at all. And so these other MPs left before he even started, or as he started to speak. So even before they had heard what he was saying, they left Parliament. So it had to be organised beforehand. Otherwise, why would they leave if he just started speaking? How would they know the content of his speech? It was on the firearms, sure, but in terms of what context? Did I agree with everything Matt said? No, but some of it I did. This was his speech on a matter important to him, and he deserved the right to be heard. Exactly correct. Nor did I agree with all the other youth MPs said, nor did I agree with all that other youth MPs said, but I didn't disrespect them or the youth parliament by walking out. Did I believe Matt had an equal right to be heard? Absolutely. Of course, this youth MP is for the National Party because the Labour and Green parties and Māori parties are all left-wing and they can't stand other people's opinions. They can't stand other people's right to be heard. They only want their right to be heard. All right, we've seen it all around the world with cancel culture coming from the left-wing narrative, left-wing activists. The youth MP for Trevor Mallard spoke to One News afterwards, claiming the walkout was not a stunt. That is not, of course it was a stunt, because they left as he was starting to speak. He didn't even listen to what he was saying. It shows that some who want to be heard at age 16 want only their voices to be heard, not mine, not Matt's. They believe in free speech as long as it's their speech that is free. Absolutely correct. This is not our liberal democracy the youth parliament is meant to champion. Storming out and having temper tantrums is not the Kiwi way. Having a contest of ideas is. Oh, brilliantly said, this person. Right from day one, some youth MPs made it clear that if things weren't done their way, they'd act. One boasted during a break that if anyone did anything he deemed racist, he would do a haka in the chamber. Cultural appropriation, anyone? Some wanted to annoy the speaker in the hope of being ejected from the chamber. So here's this guy, James, who was writing this article. So, well-rounded young guy. Remember, this is from people who claim they're mature enough to vote at 16. It makes it clear to me that they just want the rights of an adult, but none of the responsibilities such as tolerance and respect for another's opinion. Well said. We heard plenty of speeches on mental health, racism, Maori self-determination, beneficiary debt write-offs, rape culture, CV schools, and of course make it 16. Another youth MP whose motion was refused by the speaker stormed out in a huff. Oh my god. This is the level of people that are becoming adults in New Zealand. It's just disgraceful. When it was my chance, I spoke on youth paediatric services, being someone with a lifelong chronic condition and having had a life-threatening disease. I've got scars, but wanted to speak up for those who did not have this awesome opportunity. I wanted to raise the absolute need to end an age barrier in healthcare that denies those under 16 access to adult specialists, despite chronic conditions being no respect of it. Well, I can actually agree with that. Make it 16 in the health system, for sure. Not every area can have Starship, so we must deliver to all patients, wherever they are, the full expertise of doctors, irrespective of age. By not doing this, we are paying the price in social and health costs. Never mind the prisons. It's easy to look for problems, but another to advance solutions, not slogans. This is why the voting age must remain at 18. When it comes to healthcare, don't make it 16 is the campaign I would back. So what a brilliant article from this very young, intelligent 16-year-old. So much better than these no-hopers who fled the Parliament debating chamber at the beginning of someone's speech because they didn't think they were going to like what they were going to say. Right? That's all we get from these left-wing people who want to cancel culture, all this cancel people. They just want people to follow their ideas, follow their narrative of how to do things, and if anyone else disagrees, they don't want to listen to them, they want to cancel them up. Exactly what's happening, and I totally agree with this person. People under 18 shouldn't vote, not the least because they get brainwashed by all the teachers at school who are all left-wing as well, left-wing unionists. So wait till they get down to the real world, get a real job, although some of them probably have jobs, but they're still not out there, probably still living at home for many of them, not all of them. Wait till they get a bit of experience before they can actually start to vote on things where they have no ideas about things at all. Anyway, I thought this was a really interesting article, and good on James for doing this particular article, and actually good on Stuff for once to post an article like this, which kind of goes against their left-wing narrative as well, because they are very left-wing paper. So kudos for Stuff for doing this. Anyway, if you like this article or if you like this video, give it a thumbs up. If you don't like the video, welcome to give it a thumbs down. And if you like my content, please subscribe as well. Anyway, hopefully I will catch you in the next video.